Our project is to take two of these 6-foot long Loadmaster ATV ramps and cut them in half, install them in a 2003 Ford Windstar van. I've already removed the third seat, you see here. It just rolled out. And I've already placed a 4-foot by 4-foot by 1/2 inch sheet of plywood. We will eventually cover that with carpeting. You'll need an air compressor set up. This whole rig here is about a $70 compressor hooked up to a 6-gallon tandem storage tank, a 50-foot hose, and an air-powered cutoff tool. The whole rig only costs about $130 to buy, but if you don't want to do that, you can rent this equipment very cheaply. The manufacturer of the ramp says that the extension plate should be mounted as shown. However, we're going to do this differently. We're going to mount the ramps so that the side skirts are facing upwards. I'll be mounting the ramp so that the side rails are facing upwards to act as safety guides. The opening this ramp will fit is 39 inches high. As you can see, 4 inches is already taken up by the extension plate, which means the ramp itself cannot be more than 35 inches. And we'll cut it at that length or near to it. I'm cutting these ramps at the 38-inch line because that results in two sections, one 38 inches long and one 34 inches long. The 34-inch long piece plus the extensions I showed you before will result in two 38-inch sections, which will fit within the 39-inch opening I have at the lift gate in the back of the van. You'll definitely want to use eye protection when doing this, and don't exceed the operating pressure on your cutoff tool. You don't want to do that. And as you can see, the result are two ramp pieces, one 34-inch, one 38-inch, and with the extension piece added, they're of equivalent height. And both will fit within the opening at the lift gate, which is, I believe, 39 inches. These are the hinges we'll be using. They're common 3-inch cabinet hinges, brass-plated steel. Do not attempt to use real brass hinges. They're not strong enough. These holes will have to be drilled out to 5/16 of an inch diameter. I'm only going to use 2 of the 3 holes on each side. That's good enough. But they must be mounted to a flat surface. In order for these hinges to be attached, they will be attached on the other side of these rails, ramps. We're going to have to knock down with a hammer the upward protruding flanges. We now have 2 relatively flat surfaces to which we can attach the hinges as shown. We're looking at the bottom side of the ramps as they will be applied. And so
We have a finished joint on one of the two ramps. Works quite well. And that will allow the ramps to collapse into a much shorter unit. As it works out, the lower half of the ramps are going to be a little bit too long. We could have cut them off shorter in the first place, but that would have made the other side of the ramp too long. So we're going to cut this first 1.5 inches off. This will allow us to have two corners here, right here, right over here, touching the ground instead of this entire broad surface. That will make it a little quieter when it hits the ground and deploys. And maybe it will avoid damaging any kind of deck or painted garage floor as you lower it and it extends outwards. We now have our two cut-off pieces. They'll be used as cross members and drilled and bolted as shown at the end and just above the knee joint in order to provide torsional resistance, relative motion, vertical relative motion between the two ramps. As you can see, we're near completion of the project. The hinges are in place, the cross members are in place. At the center, at the knee joints, I'm going to add 4 vertical legs about 12 inches long. I'll take some measurements after I install the attachment plates in the back of the van. That will be our next step.